one-on-one interview. Montgomery County Mayor Jim Durrett. Yep. He was elected in August of 2014 and then reelected in August of 2018, but says he doesn't plan to run for reelection in 2020. So let's find out what goes on into being the leader of a county populated with 250,000 people and perhaps even convince the public servant to run for one more term. I got contracts here for him to sign. It's all today on the Joe Padula Show. Absolutely. Yes. Good to see you, sir.
You too, Joe. How you been?
It's been busy. I love it. Blessings all around. No doubt about it, including you sitting here today.
Well, it's always good to sit down and spend some time with you.
I appreciate it. It's been too long since we had you in the studio.
It has. It's been a while.
It's been about a year ago now.
Yeah, that long.
Yeah, little changes in the studio.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're not wearing any green today. It's good. I actually made the mistake myself not too long ago, and boom, you could see right through. There was no chest on Joe Padula. Right?
No chest on Joe Padula. That's bad.
All those push-ups were a waste that day. All right, forget about it. But yeah, today, I mean, here it is. We got so much to go over here. It is, I don't know. You decided that this is going to be your last term. You got 1 year left as a mayor of Montgomery County. I just wanted to ask about some of the things during your tenure. Also, year left to come. What are we going to see? And so much more. So, hey, make sure to like the page. Type in those comments. Definitely share it in your timelines and in your groups. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As I mean, it's crazy, the growth. This past 28 days, the Joe Show page, more than 5.3 million people reached. And yeah, come be a part of the conversation. Be a part of that growth. I appreciate it. All right, got to pat myself on the back sometimes, sir. Nobody else does it.
I would, Joe.
All right.
5.3 million. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, well, great team, great products, and yeah, on a basis of loving this country and loving its people.
Yep.
Yeah, love. It's a beautiful thing. Should get married, though, soon. Yeah, but that's a different conversation. We'll talk about that. I got to have a child soon. I got to have grandbabies.
You better get busy.
My parents refuse to come down here unless I have grandbabies. They haven't said that out loud, but I feel it in their eyes.
Well, you could always adopt me. I'm sure I'm a lot younger than you are.
I have mom and dad. Meet your grandson, Mayor Jim Durrett. Clarksville, Montgomery County for 20 years as a director of streets. Ended a 31-year career in local government. Chief of staff of the city of Clarksville. Served as vice president of business development for a bank. Named Public Works Person of the Year for the state of Tennessee. Leadership Clarksville, 2002.
That's it.
Wow.
Best class ever.
Man, and Montgomery County, like I said, chief of staff of city of council. But 2014, mayor. Why? Why did you make the decision to become or run for first the Montgomery County mayor position? Demanding job.
It is. And, you know, Joe, I think I left the city in October of 2008, I believe it was. And so I stayed involved in the community, very involved with the chamber, very involved with the Military Affairs Committee. I chaired it 2 or 3 different times, I think. And, you know, just seeing what was going on in the community, I didn't like some things that were going on. And my wife and I would talk about it. And she finally said, you know, why don't you do something about it? Some people had approached me about running for some offices after I quit the city. One really interested in it, and the more that I became dissatisfied, the more I became interested in it.
What were the things that were that you saw were red flags or concerns?
You know, I didn't like some of the local politics that were going on.
Okay,
I just truly didn't. And you know, I thought we could do better. And basically, at the end of the day, my wife said, you know, why don't you quit complaining about it and why don't you do something about it? So
Mary told it straight, huh?
So lo and behold, here we are today.
when you decided to run, I'm sure there was other support too. Any negative feedback? Any people saying no, don't do it?
Oh yeah, of course I didn't hear that, but secondhand I'd get it.
Yeah.
I do recall talking to a local business person, asking them for their support, and they asked me why I'm going to do it, la da 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 da, all that stuff, and then they said, well, I won't mention the name, but I don't think you can beat the incumbent. And I said, well, I think I can, and I'm going to. And that ended our conversation.
What does that business rhyme with? No, you don't have to answer, sir. No, yeah, absolutely. But hey, and you did, and it did. It was a close fight, and if I remember correctly, 2014, it wasn't the. I don't want to say it was a mean campaign, but it wasn't the nicest of campaigns.
No, it wasn't.
Did you get offended at all, or?
Yeah, and I'm sure I offended some people, and that was a pretty difficult time in my life and in my wife's life as well. It's not truly who we were or who we are, I don't think. But the person running our campaign, when we bought in with them day one, not necessarily bought in, but when we got on board with them, they said, this is what we got to do. This is what we may have to do. And you just need to follow our lead, and so we did.
And it worked. And if I remember, there was three opponents running that one. Three contestants, and man, you won. If I also remember correctly, a low voter turnout in 2014, or maybe it was just a spread throughout because there was three candidates for mayor.
Yeah, but it was a pretty low turnout.
Yeah.
It was a pretty low turnout. But
why do we have that here in this area?
Man, Joe, I wish I knew.
So many people, and so many people complain.
Yeah, exactly.
So many people have an opinion.
Yep.
And
yep.
Okay, come on out.
Yep.
Come on out to the booths.
Yep.
Yeah. How do we fix that?
I don't know. I think it's just through education. I really don't know what the fix is, because I think there's. You see more and more people doing things where you can register to vote for those. I'm a firm believer. I just don't think we relax our election laws to the point that everybody gets mailed a ballot and doesn't matter who you are, dead or alive. I think we've got to regulate that some, but I think it's just about creating interest in what's going on and letting people know that that one vote does make a difference,
especially in local politics. I think there is a problem or a disconnect where people think, okay, it's local politics, it doesn't matter. It matters more than federal and state elections.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when it comes down to property taxes and everything. Yeah. So people, go vote. Vote informed too.
Exactly.
Consolidation was a big one, huh?
It was.
When was that on the ticket there? What was that, 2016?
Yeah, probably 16, 17, somewhere in there.
And that was huge, massive emotion-wise.
Yep.
Would it ever pass? Should it ever pass?
Will it ever?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
And what is consolidation for those who don't know?
Well, it's really, we're a very unique county and city.
Yeah.
We only have one city inside of our county. If you go over to Robertson County, I think they have like 11 cities inside their county. You go over to Sumner County, I think they have 8 or 9, something like that. We only have one. So if we've only got one city, why have two governments?
And with that two government comes two law enforcement agencies. The schools are already consolidated.
Yep. Yep, the easy part's done.
The schools are the easy part.
Yeah, I think that was done back in the mid '60s.
What else would be consolidated if it would go forward?
I mean, just like we have duplications in our building and codes departments, and our parks and rec. We have a highway department and a street department, and a lot of the county offices are constitutional offices as well, and so they're required by our state constitution. So we have to have a sheriff. But it doesn't necessarily say that, and I say this with all due respect to John Fuson, I'm crazy about him. He's a good guy.
Got elected the same year you did.
Yeah, good sheriff. And but their constitutional duties to operate a jail So if you look in Nashville, for instance, they have a sheriff. I think it's Darrell Hall. And he operates a jail, but they have a Metro police chief.
Is it Darrell Hall of Hall and Oates?
No,
no,
a
different guy. Okay,
no,
sorry.
no, I don't think his cat sings.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
but yeah, Davidson County, they have a form of consolidation.
It's Metro government,
right?
Yeah,
and then another confusing one, and a lot of people, and this is probably why a lot of people don't vote here in this area, or I should say, don't vote to the capacity that we should be. Nobody knows whether what their county commissioner is, or their city council person is, or the same. Why is two people over the same property area? Right. And in consolidation, that would also combine.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You'd have one legislative body as opposed to two.
Man, I mean,
I tell you something funny story, Joe. I may have said this on your show before, but back when I was running in 2014, and I can remember one instance that was like a half a mile from here, back over off Trenton Road in the neighborhood. Saw a guy I knew. I was walking door to door. Saw a guy I knew. He stopped. He wasn't at his house. He was in his vehicle. We talked. I'd played softball with him. And I just said, hey, I'm running for county mayor, man. I sure would appreciate your vote. And he said, man, I'd love to vote for you, but I live in the city.
No.
I ran into that so many times.
That's
you
a problem.
Would not believe it. It is a problem.
And that's still a thought in people of this area's mind right now.
Yep.
So yeah, we got to fix. You know how, like you said, information.
Yep.
All right, we'll start putting commercials out there for that. Be like, listen, if you're in the city, you can vote for the county mayor. Right.
That's right.
Right. Same thing with your county commissioners. Yeah. There is a section of the city. Right. Yeah. I'm not trying to make this a pro-consolidation thing. I just remember that was a very, very emotional topic back in 2016. It
was, and it was a lot of misinformation out there, probably on both sides.
What was the non-consolidation foundation?
Well, I think what worries those folks is especially the people that live outside the city limits of Clarksville, is they're going to have to pay for city services, or they're going to have to pay city taxes as well.
That was the
and
Facebook
typically
argument.
You have an urban and a rural tax district is typically what happens there, and so you don't necessarily. The people that live out in the rural areas don't necessarily get taxed the same way that somebody lives inside of the urban environment.
Man, interesting, and I'm sure the topic of consolidation of Clarksville and Montgomery County will be brought up again in the near future. I do believe that. The county has grown since 2014. I mean, like grown. Like friggin' Flintstone kids on steroids. And I don't know, what are some of the biggest names that have come into the area since you've been in the mayor's seat?
Well, obviously, if you look at the big ones, you talk about Hankook Tire,
you
talk about Google, you talk about LG, you talk about Atlas BX, several pretty big size industries, and then there's some mid-sized stuff like Troy Industries that's located here now.
Right.
They're renovating a building. They moved here from up in the Northeast. Steve and Tracy Troy. They do some. They make firearm parts.
Right. Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Recent
news.
So that's just they're not hiring the 700 or 800 people, but they're hiring 75 people, and their wages are tremendous.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, Joe, I think one of the things that I think is just so cool, but if you look at just so many of the small businesses, and so many people accuse me of focusing on downtown, but I'm down there every day and I see it. But you talk about Hot Pita, you talk about Strawberry Alley, you talk about Yada Yada that went from a little bitty coffee shop to now this really nice restaurant, and Couture Crush,
Journey's Eye Studio, these.
I mean, if you just talk about those little things,
like we got a Clarksville collection, a souvenir T-shirt shop for this area. It's great.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
with all due respect, the LGs, the Hancooks, the Googles of the world, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But the small business, that's the backbone of our community.
Absolutely.
And our country.
I mean, I'm telling you, that is the epicenter of every city.
Yep.
No doubt about it. And again, patting on the back here. Do you know
The Joe Padula Show.
Do you know who? Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. That too. But do you know who named Yada? Yeah, that's right. And I still got to pay for my coffees. Right. Darla's. Come on, I named the business.
Come on, Darla.
Well, I named it when it was Yada Yada Yada. Right.
Yeah.
All right, but then they had to change it. But yeah, you ain't kidding. I mean, and the locally owned businesses, not even just downtown, but even like some of the locally owned franchises, we on the show the other day, we had the owners of the Fat Shack.
Yeah.
Clarksville natives watching the show Shark Tank.
Yep.
Okay, they see the Fat Shack creator on Shark Tank, and they're like, I want that here in my city. And they do it.
That's so cool.
That's
so cool.
We got people with gumption here.
Yep. You know G's Pancake House.
Jeez.
The folks down there, I wish I could think of their name, but they had a food truck. And now they're opening up bricks and mortar.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, man. It's just awesome.
Yeah, the best is yet to come. I mean, do you know of anything that's coming in the near future?
Yeah, I'd say we'll probably have some kind of announcement here within the next couple of weeks. And there's a lot of interest in Montgomery County from industry.
Why?
And businesses. Well, I think it's a lot of things. Obviously, we have a great workforce engine in Fort Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
We have great quality of life. We have what most people from the outside consider to be a low cost of living.
You're damn right.
A low tax base.
Do you know what my father pays in Jersey? Property tax.
It's no telling.
It's crazy. It's over $16,000 a year.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Come on down, y'all.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Come on.
Just do me a favor. Just, leave some of your things behind, okay? Right. But yeah. I mean, this is ideal. Now with that infrastructure.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things, like today, I'm on Wilma. They're repaving and. Always complaints about infrastructure. Do you hear any compliments? Is there any hope in the future for a lot of less negative comments?
And Joe, that really our transportation infrastructure is really it's complicated in a sense because all of our major roads are state routes.
State routes.
And so,
could you explain the difference? Because there's a lot of people that don't understand state, county, city roads.
Right.
They think it's all in one border. Yeah. And again, lack of information. They think, Mayor Durrett, my Trenton Road, fix it.
Yeah.
But
Trenton Road's
state road.
Yeah.
Right. So how does that work?
Well, the way it works is there's the state routes. Typically, if we're going to get something done to them, there needs to be some skin in the game from the local governments.
Mm-hmm.
And so a perfect example was Trenton Road. The city of Clarksville put some money into Trenton Road. It's in design phase now. That'll be widened from Wilma Rudolph Boulevard all the way out to Exit 1. Another perfect example.
Thank God.
Yeah, no kidding. God. We're building a big school complex way out Rossview Road, about 3 miles from International Boulevard and from Exit 8 there.
So needed.
And Montgomery County's putting up $10 million towards engineering and right-of-way acquisition. That way we can get the state to fast-track it and get that project built before that school complex opens out there. So, the local governments have to put some money in the game.
I hear Exit 8 is growing because they chose to put a Popeye's chicken there. Is that accurate or is that misinformation?
It's probably
partially
accurate.
That friggin' line for the drive-thru. Every time I drive past it, I go, what's going on there?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's growing. Exit 8, Exit 11. I mean, downtown, the multi-purpose event center, and all the business I see on the signs down there, because you got the fences up for the construction and everything, and I see the coming soon signs.
Right.
What is going to be the multi-purpose event center, and what else is coming along with it? Do you know?
Well, what it's going to be is what we've never had. We don't have an entertainment venue in our community. We've got some small venues.
Right.
But we don't have a place where we can do concerts.
How many
where
will it
we
seat?
can do monster truck
Monster
races.
truck rallies. Yeah, rodeos.
Where we can have semi-pro hockey.
Ice capades.
Where we can have Disney on Ice.
Yes.
Where we can have Circus Soleil.
Right.
I mean, we don't have that, and we're going to have that.
Now, it's interesting. Someone told me, I don't, maybe you could put some truth to this, that there was an aquarium. Is it in Chattanooga now?
Yeah.
And it was offered to Clarksville first. Have you heard that?
Never heard that.
Okay.
Never heard that. But I
Damn
know
you, reliable sources.
Yeah, I do know the aquarium in Chattanooga. There was a lot of private dollars put into it for it to begin, and I think the private dollars that were injected in the aquarium, that the private folks realized that if we do something in that downtown area, it will transform it, and it did.
That's right. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
I mean,
it totally did.
So the event center, what's the seating? How many? What's the capacity? Do we know?
Well, for probably basketball, hockey, right around 6,000.
Perfect.
For center stage concert, you could probably get 8,000 in there. Yeah.
Okay. Naysayers. Oh, the parking. What about the parking?
I'm not concerned about the parking. I mean, we're working on with the city on a garage. There's a private development that's going in.
A parking garage.
Working on a garage there.
Nice.
Within 2 blocks of it, there's, I think, about, I don't remember the number, Joe, but it's well over 1,000 parking spaces.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And it goes up, right?
Yeah.
It goes up. And what's Mr. Maynard building down there?
He's building a 3-story restaurant, 3 different restaurants.
Muscle car, right?
Yeah, muscle car, and then I think Italian on the second level, and then kind of a rooftop bar, burgers and stuff upstairs. Yes. Yeah,
it's like all these places coming. If you build it, they will come.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean the growth is happening, and with that growth, I mean taxes.
Yep.
Okay. County Mayor Jim Durrett, quote, "When all is said and approved, this won't be a year of raising county taxes. Can Montgomery County continue to grow and not see tax hikes like we've seen in Davidson County or Knox County even?"
I don't think we will see those type increases, but I think we'll have to address our tax rate within the next couple of years for sure.
Because I've always seen like the more people that are coming in, the more taxes that are also coming in, which means more revenues coming in. So, I mean, raising it on some that's already here, it's a tough and it's an emotional discussion.
Joe, we have an adequate facilities tax. Every new lot that's constructed pays $500. Every new building permit's $500. So it's $1,000 added onto every lot. That goes to our school system. But it's a proven fact that a single-family residential house will not pay their way in supporting all the services that are needed. And so I think if you really, I could do a whole show and go back on the tax history of Montgomery County. And if you looked at it like in a chart, so we go along, we're real flat, and then we'd have a reappraisal year and our property tax would go way down. And then the next year it'd go way back up.
What was the reason? Or what is the reason?
It was all politics. If you look at it, they were all based around elections. And it's just, it's not the way to do it. And so what I think is, and I'm not going to say this is going to happen next year. It may not happen in 2 years. It may not happen in 5 years. But we've always had these kind of drastic moves with our tax rate. Hey, next year add 2 cents. And 2 cents is going to pay for X, whatever X is. And then maybe in 2 more years add 2 cents. But if you go back and look at our tax rate back about 20 years, it's gone up and down, up and down. If it would have stayed flat, and actually you could have reduced it a couple of pennies every year. But what they do when they do a reappraisal year, when values go up, you have to. It's like milk. Milk goes up. You got to pay a little bit more.
So let's flatten it.
Yeah, and so But when they reappraise and say, just I'll use some hypothetical numbers, say the tax rate's at $3 and the reappraisal goes to $289 and they lower the tax rate to $289, for all those years that we've gone, if this is the flat line,
right,
we've gone below it.
Yeah.
And if you take all of those little pieces of those little wedges where we've gone below it, I think we figured out it was about $64 million in tax revenues that we basically lost.
Huh.
And so I don't want to pay any more taxes than anybody else. But, you know, people are going to say, well, the multipurpose event center, that's where all our tax money is going. No, it's not. I'm talking about property taxes is what I'm talking about. And so those are things that fund like our sheriff's department, our EMS department, building and codes department,
schools,
parks and rec.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. You mentioned the education, and I got a couple questions about that coming up here in a bit because I recently had some parents on.
Yeah.
And, man, I got to talk about school boards and stuff like that. But before we do that, you're pretty liked. People like you. I see you out in the streets. Hey, yo, Mayor Durrett, Jim. Right. I see it. Right, I see it. I do it myself. Hey! Right. And then, you know, you kind of run and hide for some reason, but that's a different story.
I don't hide. I come up and hug you, Joe.
I know. And I get embarrassed. I start blushing. But, yeah, there's some people that aren't fans.
Yeah.
They're not fans. What do they say to you? And what's your response? How do you react to them?
You know, I don't think many of those people confront you face to face.
Nope.
They may confront you via email or
type.
Yeah,
type send.
yeah, or on the phone.
Yeah.
And
on the phone, huh?
You know, I try to talk to everybody. Somebody calls my office, I'd say our callback rate's probably 98% or better. You know, we listen to the good and we listen to the bad.
Yeah, you got to talk to them.
Yeah,
you got.
I got so many negative calls and emails about COVID. You know, about the mask mandate and all of that stuff.
Restrictions and mask mandate.
Yeah.
That must have been the toughest, right?
It was pretty tough, yeah.
What were some of the comments? Because I'm not a mask guy. I'm not a mandate guy either.
I don't know what you're reading. You're not following the science. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You know, you're trying to be like all these people on the far right.
When you removed the mask mandate?
Yeah.
Is that when you really got the...
Yeah, even when we put it on, then when we took it off.
Yeah.
I mean, we got it from both sides. When we put it on, the people that didn't want it, they blew you up.
Yeah.
When you took it off, the people that thought we needed it, they blew you up.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
I didn't wear one once.
Never.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Even at the airport, so I was going to go visit my parents in Jersey, and I go to BNA. And they go, sir, you got to put on a mask. I go, thank you. And I kept walking, okay? Even through security, sir, can you put your mask on? I go, yep. As they're looking at my private parts too in that machine. I know because they start laughing. Right. It's not fair. So I get in the plane. And my carry-on luggage is my army bag, you know? It's got Padula, it's got the sergeant, the chevrons, it's got the digipad. And... the flight attendant, she comes over. She goes, sir, you're going to have to put on your mask. I go, okay. Can I get a cup of coffee? And can you keep it coming? And a little snacky. So she brings over the coffee. She goes, thank you for your service. I go, no, thank you for yours. And the whole flight, just Section 8 of United Airlines, exempt from wearing a mask while eating and drinking. I took the biggest leak when that plane landed, sir. And I ate so much. And believe you me, I'm a healthy guy. And I talked to my doctor, and I talked to yours too. I'm a big proponent of boosting immunity systems.
Yeah.
You know, according to my doctor, and talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I don't give advice on medical stuff. But I take vitamin D3 every day, zinc every day, a very good magnesium multivitamin. All right. I take biotin for my nails, and they don't stop growing. and I'll tell you, I mean, apple cider vinegar with the mother.
Yeah.
Shot of this every day, and it also flattens out the belly too, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
But again, talk to your doctor, and I'm a big healthy guy, so I understand the ones with the masks who are upset, and I also understand the ones who are in fear. I should show you one day the emails that I've been sent from media outlets for me to promote and put out there. And it's very conflicting. So I can understand both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
But yeah, when some of these corporations, these new corporations, were sending me items. Mr. Padula, please, throughout your broadcast, please dispense this information.
Yeah.
What was interesting in the beginning of COVID was I was being told not to report on the recovery numbers. That was my first, what is happening here?
Yeah. And
then I had an interview, and it was with you and Mayor Pitts. We did a split screen. And that's when I'm like, man, this is going to get real divisive. And it did. And to being a leader of a county of 250,000 people, where I would say it was pretty divisive, not as bad as other places.
Right.
And I give that credit to the leaders.
Well, thank you.
I really do. I have a lot of respect, because to be in a leadership role in a position that large, especially during that time, that's a lot of respect, sir.
Well, thank you.
Touche.
Mayor Pitts and I worked hand in hand throughout that whole thing. And, you look back over the decisions that you made. Probably the thing that frustrates me the most is that basically it was left up to the local communities, and we as a local community had put together what I thought was going to be a really, really good reopening plan.
Mm-hmm.
And the reopening plan was bigger, quite frankly, and better than what the governor did. Because it took a while for barbershops and beauty salons and nail spas and all those places to open up, restaurants at certain capacities. I think I can't say it was foolproof, but I thought it was a very good plan. We had a lot of people involved in making the decisions that we were going to make. And then all of a sudden the governor comes out and says, okay, and I think it was May 27th, all restaurants can open at 25% capacity. And then they do an emergency order 2 weeks later and let somebody else open up. We were actually going to be more open, but then the governor kind of he overrode all the local mandates.
Interesting.
And then he turned around and said, I'm not going to do a mask mandate for the county or for the whole state,
for the state, right.
But I'm giving that authority to the county mayors. And, that's just, I don't know, that's politics in my opinion. Maybe it's his belief. But, if he believed that we shouldn't have mask mandates and they want to control our state, then don't give the mayors the opportunity. But, you could go back over the whole thing. I think for me, where we stand today, the frustrating part, excluding all the other stuff, the frustrating part to me today is that whether you want a vaccination or not, it's totally your choice. Totally your choice. But we look at our numbers and we say 38, I think we're at 38% of Montgomery County is vaccinated. We don't know how many people, Walmart, Walgreens, those numbers aren't in our numbers.
Oh, interesting.
They're not in our numbers.
Like the ones that they have given
because they're not getting inoculated through the state's programming. That's my understanding.
Interesting.
Of it. And so, you got Fort Campbell. And then how many people had the virus that still have the antibody in them? And so if you
perhaps like yourself,
if you look at all those numbers, I would say we're probably close to 70% of people that are immune to the virus.
Agreed. The numbers here in Montgomery County, media blew a lot of things out of proportion.
Oh my gosh!
Because I've always did the math. I did this on the show, and it drew a lot of bad feedback. I would take the numbers, okay, provided by Tennessee.gov, okay, because they had the county. For some reason now they took down that site, tn.gov, where you can track, how many are infected, okay, so on and so forth, how many recovered. That's gone now for some reason. But I would always do the math, and Montgomery County was always 98% non-COVID of the citizens. You take, and I lowballed the population number and did the division of math. I did it at a math of 220,000 people, which is higher than that. That is for sure. We'll see in the next census. But our numbers were always very good. And I like the fact that you gave people pretty much the freedom to choose the right option for them.
Yeah.
Any arrests made for violation of a mask mandate or
I think there were 7,322. No, there were none. No, there were none. You know, and that's what I tell a lot of people that would call me and complain about. I said, you know what? We're not going out and grabbing people off the street and putting them in jail for not wearing them. I said, if you feel that strongly about it, just don't wear it.
Right.
Just don't wear it. I said, you drive down the road and you see a speed limit of 55, but you drive 70. I said, so you break the law there, so what's it matter? Just don't wear it.
I try to do at least 10 over the speed limit.
Yeah.
I feel almost like
you won't do it out here on Wilma today.
No, not today. No. I've been driving like 5 miles an hour. I'm like, yeah, cruising.
Window down.
But, I mean, and people are concerned because of what's being promoted as the Delta variant here. But I really do feel that, and you guys have proven that our local government has said, hey, we're watching, but we love your freedoms as well. We understand it. And yeah, especially since you said even at the state level, there was somewhat of a little bit of an overreach.
Yeah,
if you will.
Joe, and I don't know.
And I love Billy.
I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but I'll tell you this. You know, what Jim Durrett feels personally, I didn't ever want to wear a mask.
Right.
Just didn't want to wear it. Didn't think we should. But I couldn't look at what my personal feelings were. I had to look at what it was as a community and the feedback I was getting from our health officials. If I would have just said, you know what, I don't care what anybody says, this is what I feel and this is what I'm going to do, I think you'd seen a lot different things put in place. But I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not that bullheaded that just because I believe it or I think it means that it's right for everybody. So
yeah, you have to be a mayor for all of the people.
We had to listen to everybody.
Right.
We had not only ourselves, we had to listen to everybody.
Yeah, different heads of departments, a whole bit.
Yeah,
I get it. I do. Yeah, friggin' COVID, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, that
was crazy. It's not over yet. Well, the media-wise, you'll see. We'll talk about that on the Joe Padula Show another day. All right. But education, the Clarksville-Montgomery County school system, school policies and procedures have many parents engaged now in the school year 2021-2022. Personally, I interviewed six parents the other day, and they were at a school board meeting, and their biggest gripe, and the hundreds of signatures they got now from other parents, is they're not being heard because they have questions about their children wearing masks, and if vaccinated children, unvaccinated children, if there's going to be a separation system, a whole bit. We were reading one story about a prom that was marking unvaccinated students to another. What advice do you have for not only the school system and the school boards, but what advice do you have for these parents as well that are having concerns?
Well, I think for my advice for the school system and for the school board would be that I don't think they have a system in place that allows people to get in front of their board and voice their opinions. And so you saw what happened last week, that I don't want to say they hijacked the meeting, but they wanted to be heard.
They wanted to be heard.
And you know, that's one of the things that, Joe, I think I learned a long, long time ago, and I talked about our callback rate on our phone calls. People want to be heard. You may not always give them the answer that they want,
right? But
they want an answer. And so if they're throwing out all these questions and there's no answer to them, then, you know, their mind just starts going everywhere, and they're saying, are they hiding something from me? And I'm not saying, you know, why do you buy these pens every time? I'm not talking about questions like that, but when you start talking about policies about mask and no mask and vaccinated and non-vaccinated,
Health statuses of these parents' children. I get that they get emotional.
Yeah, and you know, I know the school system has a pretty robust communication system, like when school's out, text messages, those type things, and you know, they may send out something. Here's our upcoming protocol on opening schools with a link. A lot of people aren't going to go to that, and so it's really about getting the information out. You know, I looked at some stuff on the school system's website over the weekend, and you know, they're opening with their existing policies, which don't require masks.
I think their complaint of the parents that came in here is they had that policy, and then after it was all on board and everyone picked whether their child was going into school or into a Zoom class, I don't know the official term of it, but then they changed the policy after decisions were already made. And
you know, they may have, and you know, when you talk about that, Joe, you talk about something, and I'm defending them, but I'm not defending them because it's just like mandating a mask or not mandating a mask. That's something that our society has never been faced with. We've never been faced with closing schools down for an extended period of time and figuring out what are we going to do to educate these kids if we're not going to be in school. And so there was a lot of decisions made, a lot of thought put into all those decisions. And did they change some policies and some things? Yeah. I think one of the things that a lot of people got upset about, that they made a child, and I may be wrong about this, but they said either you're going to be virtual or you're going to be in person.
Right.
And we're not going to let you go back and forth.
Yeah, that's what the parents were saying the other day.
And to a degree, I understand that. But maybe they're getting to a point now where, you know, if somebody needs to go virtual, they can go virtual. And if circumstances change, then they could go back to school. I don't know if they're going to do that. But, you know, those are just some things. Those are tough decisions. And it wasn't like you had, you know, everybody should have a pandemic plan. But I don't think anybody had a plan of thinking that, okay, hey, we're going to close our schools for 3 months.
Well, we should have been a little bit prepared because we had situations where schools were closed for long periods of time when we saw a couple flurries come down. Okay, 2 years ago, I think one snowflake fell.
Yeah.
Go home, run.
Go buy milk.
Eggs, bread. What are you making? French toast?
Yeah. We've had some of that.
But I hear you. Uncharted waters, and the way we handle it, I feel, in comparison to information that I've investigated and researched and seen for myself across this country, Montgomery County did very well.
I thought we did too.
Overall. I mean, there are things that still need to be worked on.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think communication is going to fix those things.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Speaking of communication, when are you going to start running your 2020 Montgomery County Mayor's Race campaign ads?
Well, Joe, I'd say don't hold your breath.
Oh, come on, sir. Come on.
No.
I mean, what makes you not want to run again? Because term-wise, you are legally able to run again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So why not?
Well, I'll tell you. I think it's two things. One is that when I first ran, I said that if I was elected the first time, I would probably seek a second term. And if I was lucky enough to get elected in that term, then I wouldn't run anymore.
Well, I said that second reelection was pretty convincingly in favor of you.
Well, it was. And then, you know, I don't know that anybody realizes till you sit in the chair how much toll it takes on you, not only mentally, physically, but more than anything is just separation from your family.
Like you were just saying this weekend, you were looking at websites of the schools. That sounds like a fun weekend, Mayor.
Yeah. It's just it never ends.
Never ends.
When you hear somebody say 24/7, 365, it's that.
And then all of a sudden you got schmucks sending you messages, hey, can you come on the show? I see what you're doing. You're
not a
guilting
schmuck,
me.
Joe.
You're guilting me. You're like, hey, I'm
no,
busy.
I'm not. Joe, you've never called, and I hadn't responded.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. But you ain't okay. So I get it. It is demanding. How old are you now, sir?
I just turned 63.
Yeah, you look young.
Yeah.
You look young. I think, well, from my sources say you don't want to run because you're a chicken. Is that going to work? No. So you're not Marty McFly from Back to the Future? No. Do you have someone in mind that you would like to see in your seat about a year from now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What does that person have qualities that you're looking for?
I think first and foremost is where's their heart. It can't be, I just want to do it for the power. I want to do it just because for the recognition. You truly, truly have to have your heart and soul into it because you gotta work hard to make it work. And I think if there's one thing that I don't like to use the word I, but if there's one thing that I'm proud of what I've done, and that's I've worked hard. Maybe not always made the right decision. Obviously done some things a lot of people don't agree with, but done some things that a lot of people do agree with. But nobody can accuse me of not working hard and putting my heart and soul into this job. And I think that's what it takes. I think if you got somebody that'll do that, you got the right candidate.
So do you think, Downtown Commons, multi-purpose event center, huge businesses, corporations, franchises, local businesses deciding to come to this area, out of all of that, working hard, your biggest accomplishment, proudest?
That's what I'm most proud of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a damn good one.
I think so. We did it during the election.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can say we weren't going to get outworked when we first ran. And we just carried that mantra right over into the office, and we're not going to get outworked. We're just not. We're going to work hard.
If you had to point out one thing that was probably the most controversial element of your tenure of mayor, was it COVID? Was it something else?
Yeah, it has to be COVID.
It has to be, right?
It has to be COVID. But, there's a lot of other things that we had a couple of tax increases that we didn't want to do.
Oh, I bet you got some phone calls on the wheel tax stuff.
Yeah, my first year, and I'll back up when we talk about taxes. Another thing I'm very, very proud of, and people don't know this, but if we'd have stayed on the same track we were on, we were looking at our general fund balance, which is our reserve, for lack of a better words. And so Montgomery County's not cash rich. And so we have cash flow issues just like everybody else. So we start collecting property taxes in mid-October, November, December, January, February. And so during the other months, there's some cash flow issues. And so you need to have a healthy reserve.
So that's what that is there for,
fund balance.
Pretty much.
We were on track based on the budget that was approved when I took office.
This
we
was
had a
2014.
fund balance of $17 million.
Okay.
And at the end of the year, it was going to be at $10 million. That's not sustainable for us.
Because the following year it'd be even less. Okay.
And basically, you're spending more than what you're bringing in.
You're spending your savings. That's what it's for.
Yeah,
right.
Your deficit spending.
Okay.
And so I think if you'll look at how we ended our last fiscal year, we have a fund balance of about $32 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
almost doubled what you came in with.
If we had not received the federal dollars that we received during COVID, and we needed to dip into our fund balance for $3 million to be able to communicate, to meet, do all the technological things that have been done with COVID.
Because business had to go on.
Yeah, we could have reached in there and it wouldn't have broke the bank.
Right. Huh.
And so I think it's good to have a healthy fund balance, and we've done that. We've done that. So I'm proud of that.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
No one reports on that.
Yeah, you never hear it.
No, nobody writes that.
It's not that word. What, sexy?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no clickbait on that one.
No clickbait.
I can't stand the clickbait headlines anymore. I'm so done with it. I used to do them, okay, and then I'd be like, "What am I doing? What am I doing? This has nothing to do with the story, Joe. Stop it." Well, I'll tell you, if you had to point out one thing, what has been the most successful accomplishment during your time as mayor?
Most successful.
Yeah. Something that people will be like,
don't know.
"Hey, Mayor Durrett, that's him."
I think there's a couple of things. One that a lot of people don't see. I think we've changed the culture of county government.
How so?
Of the employees and things that we're doing. I think that's happened. I mean, I try to, Joe, every day call everybody in county government that's having a birthday and wish them a happy birthday. And so, like this morning,
Even Tangi Smith.
I
love Tangi.
I do too. But like this morning, I had a list from Saturday and Sunday, and first thing I did this morning was pick up the phone and call those folks and wish them a happy birthday. If we don't get them on the phone, we send them a little happy birthday card. And I just think that's important. I think
Why? Building relationships, personal?
Yeah, and morale. I mean, you look at studies, most people that work, pay is not the very first thing they look at. A lot of it is just being recognized for your accomplishments.
Yeah.
And so I think that's huge.
These county commissioners don't make a lot of money doing
no.
and it's work.
Yeah, it is work. And so, we've got over 1,300 employees, so you can imagine what that list looks like every day, where I pick up the phone and personally call them, have great conversations with some of them. It's great. And then, I think the other thing, I'm very proud of, even though some people would disagree with this, the fiscal management that we put forward. And people are going to say, I know the naysayers are going to say, well, your debt went from here to here. Our debt did go from here to here. The multipurpose event center is a big part of it. We did not touch the property taxes on that, though. We looked at other revenue sources, created some revenue sources that most of our people aren't paying, hotel, motel taxes, to help pay for it.
And the long term, the chest that will get.
Yeah, and I think everything we did, whether it's building schools or whatever, we said, okay, if we're going to do it, let's put out a plan to pay for it. How are we going to pay for it?
How are we going to pay for
Yeah.
it? Right. Not just, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll raise taxes, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
No, I dig it. I mean, if we got to be fiscally responsible in our personal lives, okay, yes, many people have the sentiment that our elected officials should also be fiscally responsible with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I mean, becoming a homeowner last year has really, I look at things like, what?
Yeah.
And now I do the research,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, how much do I owe the friggin' dump? What?
Yeah.
Hey, nobody pays that. What's up with that?
I know it.
But you got to pay it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a conversation with someone. We're talking about this is the bio dump.
Bi-county.
Bi-county, yeah. And so with this, you're able to, because there's some things you can't just bring to the curb and get picked up by your local company, garbage company. They're not going to pick up your leaves and your blah blah blahs and and your couch. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just doesn't work like that. So we have this beautiful service, the bio, the bi-county dump, and man. So I owe you guys a few bucks. I gotta catch up.
Joe, that was a big controversy that we went through.
What's that?
Bi-county.
Why?
Well, we ran out of airspace to put Montgomery County's garbage, and we had to do a lot of things. And I'm just a member of that board. It's not a county office. Those employees are not county employees. But as a member of the board and as leader of the county, I just felt like I had to take the lead in what we did, and we had to make some pretty drastic changes.
So you ran out of room, because as we grow, so does our garbage.
Yeah, but a lot of it, some of it was mismanagement. Some of it was just bad information. But I think we've got Bi-County now on a path that Montgomery Countyans are not going to have to worry about a place to put their garbage for years and years to come. And people talk about that user fee that we have. We get lots of complaints about it.
Yeah.
Go to Nashville and dispose of your trash. Go to Franklin, dispose of your trash.
What's the difference?
It's huge. It's huge. Tipping fees in Nashville compared to what they are here are just, they're not anywhere close.
You got to tip the guy?
The Franklin, the Franklin trash that we're receiving right now, and we don't have to receive after the year 2026, which was a horrible contract, which should have never been signed, but it is what it is.
Huh.
There's a big landfill up in Murfreesboro called, I think it's Middlebrook, and they're saying that thing's going to close in like 6 years, and that's where Murfreesboro, all of the Mount Juliet, it's a lot of people send their trash there. Where are they going to send it? Where are they going to send it?
Are they going to send it to ours and we charge them?
No. We're going to make sure we've always got room for our trash.
Interesting.
For our trash.
This is another story you never hear about.
Yeah.
Why? They should. The headline would be like trash talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Little things people, I do it. Everybody else does it. You take for granted. Water,
Yeah.
sewer,
That's another one. So I get the water bill.
Yeah.
Proud homeowner. Open up the water bill. Sewage? What? What the?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what goes into the sewage?
Everything that goes down your drain.
All right, we'll move forward. We'll move forward. But yeah, man, but nonetheless, I mean, this is the place to be.
It is.
Montgomery County, Tennessee is the place to live.
Yeah.
I'm saying across the board.
Yeah.
The freedoms that we hear, the way of life, the culture,
Yep.
the diversity, it really is something special.
Yep. Sure is.
Is there one thing you would change throughout your time of being mayor?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there are. I can't think of anything right now. But, yeah, I'm sure there's some things I'd change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But a lot I'd do the same way, good, bad, or ugly.
Would it be when you went on the ice to play that hockey?
No.
Because
And
actually, you were terrible.
Actually, Joe, I wasn't terrible.
Oh, I saw.
No.
Sorry,
No,
Mary paid me to say
Yeah,
that.
you must have been watching Pitts.
Oh, it's on. It's on. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
But, I mean, just think about those things, Joe, downtown Commons and what goes on down there. And,
Yeah.
People don't think about, but.
You got a lot of crap for the Commons.
Oh, yeah. But, see, I
But
don't know.
did you see that event this past weekend for the Black Horse?
Oh, it's huge.
Out there. I mean,
It's
you're looking at 2,000 people.
Yeah.
You got to walk by there and be like,
Yeah, but
it was worth it.
we spent $6 million to build Rich Ellen Park.
Okay.
That has baseball and softball fields. Since I've been here, I think we put about $10 million into Civitan Park, which has baseball, softball fields, buddy ball,
it's
walking
huge.
path, multi-purpose fields.
And it's beautiful.
A lot more than we put in the Commons.
Interesting. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
So the baseball parks and nobody gave a stink about this.
No, and what nobody realizes, I think it was last weekend or weekend before last, we had 32 teams in here from out of town that are staying in our hotels, that are eating at our restaurants, that are doing those type things. And so, it's if you look at everything that we do, it's for the good of all. It's for the good of all.
People complain a lot about the bus stop area over there.
Yeah.
What do you say to that? And that's a city thing,
in
right?
the mayor's transportation plan, which I commend him for doing what he did.
Okay.
For sticking by his guns. I've got property in the city. I don't want to pay any more property taxes than anybody else.
Right.
But he's addressing a lot of our transportation infrastructure.
It's a long-term concern.
And that's where it's going. That's where the entire 20-cent increase is going towards transportation infrastructure.
Right.
It's not going to a park. It's not going to building and codes. It's going to transportation infrastructure.
Right, which is
So
on survey the number one complaint in this area.
Exactly.
Right.
So you got to be supportive of it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Where are they going to move the bus stop?
I don't know. They've done a study, and they're kind of this wagon wheel type system now. They have a hub.
I love that song.
And they have all the spokes that come into the hub.
Right.
And I think they're maybe just looking at just creating the outer realm of the hub. And so instead of everybody coming here trading buses, they'll configure routes where there maybe not, don't quote me on this, there may not be a central transfer place. There may be many transfer stations. I don't know that, though.
That'd be cool.
That's their deal.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know, we there's so many other issues. We just don't have time. Maybe we could do more of this.
I know it.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, all you got to do is text me.
This was. I get distracted. I like it when it's one-on-one. I hope you don't mind the team members not being here today. And they're great, too. Don't get me wrong. I love them. But I get sick of them. And no, that's not true.
You said that.
It's not true. It's not true. It just, I like it when, because you got so much to offer and so much to say. And I'm glad to announce that you're running again in 2022 for Mayor of Montgomery County. But maybe we can do this again, sir.
Yeah. Just call me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Once a month, Joe.
Yep.
Whatever you want.
I was gonna make a joke, but
you're my hero, man. You know that.
No, I
thank you for your service.
Vice versa. It was an honor to serve.
Yeah,
an honor.
You know, yesterday's kind of a rainy, yucky day. My wife got me a new grill for my birthday. I put some chicken quarters on it, let them just low and slow for about 2.5 hours, and we watched Lone Survivor.
Survivor.
I read the book twice.
Wow.
I watched the movie. That's probably about the fourth time I watched it. But yeah.
What's your favorite military movie? Is it Stripes? Stripes is up there for me.
No,
With Bill Murray?
I can't say it's Stripes. I can't say it's Stripes.
You know, the 12 Strong was pretty good.
Let me tell you this. My favorite military story or movie is the one that they haven't made yet. Because every day we walk amongst heroes here in Clarksville, Montgomery County.
It's the truth.
And there's so many stories.
So many.
You have stories that you could make a movie out of.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The unit I was with, the Mighty Strike Brigade, fantastic. Colonel Art Kandarian. Shout out.
I was texting with him about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, let's text him right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Siri, text Art Kandarian. No, she doesn't like my voice. She can't read my accent. Quick question, and I agree about the heroes and everything, but your grill, is it charcoal?
Pellet.
What's the pellet?
It's pellets.
It's like wood? What's pellets?
Yeah, but it's little compressed pellets, kind of like a rabbit dropping.
Oh, you use rabbit droppings as fuel?
No, but they're elongated.
What is it? Is it coal? What is it made of?
It's just compressed wood, I guess.
It's compressed wood.
Yeah, they have some seed. You can get them in apple, cherry, hickory.
Because
I use the competition blend.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the big boys use.
A competition blend.
Competition blend.
Hey, Amazon, add competition blend to shopping list. Don't add that. That's gross. It's terrible. But I just someone give me a charcoal grill.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good. All right. I can do a gas air fryer. Forget about it.
Yeah, they're cool.
Set it, forget it. So yesterday I had intern Shane's birthday barbecue at my place. And Bay wasn't able to make it. Bay usually cooks.
Yeah.
Because he's the best. And so I'm on the charcoal grill, and everything tasted like lighter fluid. And
what kind of grill was it?
It was, big one with you put the charcoal in it. It's got a little basin for wood if you want to smoke stuff, right? Just, I don't know. Maybe.
You didn't let your charcoal burn off enough.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Stupid me. I rushed it.
Yeah.
Right. How long do you got to let it burn for?
I usually just let them all get white.
You got to wait till they're white. Yeah. They weren't all white.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And everyone was trying to be nice. Yeah, Joe, it's a good burger.
Yeah. Thanks for the butane burger.
Oh, my butane burger. I'm learning every day. Thanks for leading the way, sir.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again for checking us out and hanging out with Mayor Jim Durrett, Montgomery County Mayor. And unfortunately, like he said, he's ready to spend some time with the family.
Yep.
We'll get him to run. Next interview. On the Joe Padula Show, absolutely.
It's the Joe Padula Show, Clarksville's conversation. Absolutely.
Non-stop Vegas action has arrived. Oak Grove Gaming is now open. Experience a whole lot of Vegas fun, minus the flight, at Oak Grove Gaming. Spin and win big on over 1,300 of the latest and greatest games. Indulge and eat like a king at our 4 fantastic restaurants. Live it up at the lively bars and lounges. Conveniently located off I-24, exit 86, across from Fort Campbell. Just a quick spin away. Plus, now you can reserve your room for when our luxurious 5-story hotel opens. For reservations and more exciting information, visit oakgrovegaming.com. That's oakgrovegaming.com. Oak Grove Racing, Gaming, and Hotel. So Vegas, so close.